everyone started questioning what this AI NVIDIA deal actually means. And what it actually means is NVIDIA are now flexing their muscles, right? They've got we all know that they're the kings, largest company in the world, massive amounts of cash. They're just buying stakes in everyone and flexing their muscles, trying to stimulate. The question now is, are they trying to artificially stimulate and expand their own demand path? Or are they doing the cleverest thing ever, and this is going to turn out to be a multi-billion-dollar profit for them? Micron, yeah, I mean, listen, Micron we spoke about in the last, was it last week? Fascinating story in the fact that this is a cyclical semiconductor company that's Silicon Valley. It's been the center of Silicon Valley for decades and decades. It trades like that. It's very hard to invest in because of the cyclicality of the business, the DRAM and the NAND and the memory. This is a classic example where I just look at what's going on right now, and quite frankly, I have nothing but just regret, because I've spoken to clients about this for probably 3 years straight about what about memory? Why isn't AI focusing on memory? We all know they need power. We all know they need GPUs. We all know they need cooling systems. But what about memory? They all require memory. It's just the facts. So why are the memory guys not getting their go over this?
And what was the market missing there?
And just the orders, because this is all just happening. This is all happening in real time. So the orders started to flow in, and Micron has just completely re-rated, because Micron is usually priced as if it's like that. But now it's being priced with just like a NVIDIA type thing, right? It's just with consistent, they can see where the revenue's coming for the next 3 or 4 years. Now listen, the stock has had, everyone cottoned onto this about a month ago, and then there was an update about 2 weeks ago in particular, which caused all the analysts, there was a particular chip called the, where's my thing? I forget the name of it, MB15, I think it is. Okay. It's a new type of memory. So I saw 5 or 6 analysts come out with price targets above 200 when this was trading at 155 before the earnings, right? It was quite an unusual situation.
Yeah.
So the earnings had to be amazing, the guidance had to be amazing, and they were. But the stock's up, last time I checked, was up about 3.5% after market. I don't know what it's doing pre-market. We haven't got pre-market yet.
Not quite as spicy as that. We do. IG do 24-hour trading now.
They do. So isn't that exciting? So where is it trading then?
About 1%.
So exactly right. And that is exactly in line with what my thoughts are here. It was up 5. But then it's just exhausted, because this is what happens when, and this is where the market shoots itself in the foot, where there's too much positivity into the print. Now, Micron's going to be a fascinating day, because it's going to fight, because it's overbought, it's very exuberant, there's too much positivity, but it's great numbers. So it might fight its way back to 3.5%, 4%, but then I would fade that move, and just in terms of short-term trading, but in terms of structural positioning on this company, you have to like it, because it's coming from a base where no one was long, and that can correct itself over the space of years, not months. So
this kind of reminds me of an Oracle situation.
There's a lot of this going on.
The same thing for Oracle. Exactly
right. And I'm going to use this opportunity to mention Marvell again, because this hasn't actually happened yet, and it will happen. No one's reading the tea leaves here, right? They're doing almost the same thing.
When we looked at the graph, first of all, if we take this bit out of it, that reminds me of Marvell. That is exactly the same chart.
Very similar, yeah.
Especially year to date. So let's move on to that one. And do we have an update? Because this is recovered.
Well, there's no update, right? I mean, the company haven't spoken.
It's the same chart.
Very similar, but the thing is, guys, is that this is one of the only, and this is what I specialize in, right? I am terrible at chasing crowded stocks. I miss out on lots of upside. I've got no interest in doing it. I never will do it. It's not what I do. What I do is try and find companies that haven't moved yet. And this is a great example of something that I love, right? The ducks are aligned. We've heard what the company have got to say. We know what they do. The only thing is that they haven't quite got the orders yet. And my feeling is that is because they will have a Micron moment. It could be next quarter, it could be the quarter after, I don't know. But when they have that Micron moment, this stock will be well and truly beyond the highs, because I know that it's a retail favorite as well. Then the options will go bananas, right? And it will be up. I've seen it happen before. It's just a matter of time. So that's why I'm focused on that one. And also the price action is very encouraging. Yeah. Minus 18% on that sell-off on the earnings, which, by the way, was completely wrong. 58% revenue growth. Why is it selling off 50? It's crazy. It's much, much, much cheaper than some of the other stocks. Massive revenue clip. So it's quite rightly made its way all the way back to where it was.
Exactly,
You
to
know,
where it
and
was.
now I think the market will slowly work it out. It'll just take an update from like someone, because the market is so thick. Actually, it doesn't think.
The market's always right, Piers.
It is, but it only trades the information it has,
Yes.
not the information it doesn't have, and that's what you've got to get your head around. You think it's good to be smart and think ahead of the game. That may be the case, but often it's not, because you have to wait for the news to be on the tape for everyone to feel confident to buy it. The analysts won't say anything until the news is on the tape. So anyway,
well, so we covered Micron, we covered Marvell. Let's go back to Oracle there. We mentioned it, but you do have quite a firm view on this at the moment in the short term.
Yeah, I just think it's overcooked. And listen, I mean, I totally see the argument for Oracle, and I agree with it. But listen, look what happened yesterday. Look what happened in the last 48 hours, right? The stock yesterday was sold off 5% on volume as all of the large AI capex stories reversed. When there was a Bain Capital report that came out saying that there could be an $800 billion revenue shortfall for all these big capex spenders, not receivers. And everyone started questioning what this AI NVIDIA deal actually means. And what it actually means is NVIDIA are now flexing their muscles, right? We all know that they're the king's largest company in the world, massive amounts of cash. They're just buying stakes in everyone and flexing their muscles, trying to stimulate. The question now is, are they trying to artificially stimulate and expand their own demand path? Or are they doing the cleverest thing ever, and this is going to turn out to be a multi-billion-dollar profit for them? Problem is
both.
Or both. The problem is that the time frame now, right? We're 2025. The revenue projections are starting to hit in 2029, maybe 2030.
Yeah.
There's some big question marks, because we're talking about trillions of dollars now, right? It's a fine line that they're walking. We all know that AI is real. We know it's an industrial revolution. We know all this stuff, but what we don't know is exactly the scope, scale, and when the revenues are going to start to kick in for these guys. So Oracle's a different story, though. I mean, they're coming from a low base and re-rating, but I just think it's not going to just keep ripping higher. It needs to calm down a bit, in my view.
The management changes, the TikTok deal, it adds to the argument of upside in the medium to longer term.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also, let's just talk about the valuation, right? The valuation on this, it was dirt cheap. It was on 26 times forward. It's now on 53 times forward. Okay, I'm talking about earnings. Now that is still incredibly cheap versus their growth profile if you look at a company like Palantir. But I think we need to remember, I mean, with Palantir now, and we can talk about, is I've put that to one side, because I'm fighting something that's different that's going on here, and it's impossible to fight. It just is, right? You've got the CEO, Mark Benioff of Salesforce, validating their valuation, saying, I wish our products were given that premium.
Yeah.
Right, and that's a different way of thinking about it, right? I don't agree with it, and I still believe that the stock's going to have a day of reckoning, but I'm not going to fight it. It got 3 more upgrades yesterday. Bank of America moved it to 215. They did.
So that was yesterday's up 1.5% move when everything else
sold off. Palantir was up yesterday. Bank of America upgraded, and there was a deal with Boeing on the defense space, right? They did a deal with Boeing. It was positive for Boeing, positive for Palantir. But just look at the price action of this thing. Everything in that space got hit yesterday, apart from Palantir. And I give up. I'm not trading this thing. It's just not worth the fight. There's other things to do.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. I can't be bothered. And listen, I don't agree with the valuation. I don't agree with a company being given a premium when other companies are not, like this. But I also respect price action, and I've got no interest in fighting it anymore. So.
There's still an argument to be made for, on the option side, selling calls and selling puts, because we saw it dropped to a more normalized level around 155. Now, you're happy to buy it at 155, so you're happy to sell puts, and especially when the vol's that big. So that's one thing, is that you're selling at 155, you're selling at 200, let's say, or even Bank of America, you want to sell the 210s, you probably get $5 for it.
Yep, I mean, your option strategies are always nicely hedged and clever, and a good way of just chipping away and making money. Couldn't agree more.
That's not what you say off air. That's
no. I mean, personally, I just find it quite complicated and a bit messy. But you're very good at doing it, and you also make money out of it. So that's great. But just in terms of naked positioning on this company, I don't.
Dangerous.
I just listen. You've got to. it doesn't matter whether I think I'm right or wrong, or whether I am right or wrong. The market's telling you a very different thing, and I'm not fighting it anymore. Goodbye. Yeah. It's off my screen.
Right. Just beware the crash.
Yeah, no, listen, if it crashes, great, but I've got QQQ short. I'm happy with it. It's a lot less stressful.
Let's go on to plug, because this thing...
Now, let's talk about something that is working perfectly.
Suddenly took off. What have you done?
Well,
It's a rocket ship.
I mean, listen. I dare I say this is just a home run. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen, right?
Well,
this is exactly what I thought was going to happen, and for exactly the same reasons, and that's a nice feeling. Unlike Palantir.
Boise's saying thank you. He sold at 280 yesterday.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Well done. That's a 3 handle would have been nice, but that sounds like you made a nice trade there.
Do better, Boise.
Yeah, it's shocking trading, mate. So, I mean, listen, this is undergoing a short squeeze, and it's for good reason. And what I find most interesting about this, and this is, again, similar to Micron and Marvell, is that it's all about, yes, okay, there's a lot of things going on with this company. First of all, the heavily shorted small caps are squeezing, particularly in areas like LiDAR and alternative energy and all these different places. But the story yesterday, which really got this going, was that these guys are now being looked at because they had a significant increase in one of their production facilities of hydrogen fuel. And the market suddenly thought, hang on a sec, we're desperate for power in this world. They're just ramping nuclear, they're ramping coal, they're ramping everything they can possibly get their hands on. Why not hydrogen? So, and that makes total sense, of course. And we've got 33% short interest in this company, so it's not going to take much. But bearing in mind, so I've been trading in and out of this thing like a maniac because that's what I do. And I missed, to be honest with you, I probably made about 55% out of it instead of 155%. Nonetheless, I sold yesterday. I bought it when it was up 6% on the open, sold it when it was up 20%, then waited and started buying it again when it was up 5, gently. It'll be down again today. Listen, it needs to come back. It was up 10 days in a row. Yeah. It's a volatile, crazy short squeeze, but my view is the short squeeze has got further to go, and the market's probably going to cotton on a little bit more to the power angle to this because it makes sense.
So the market's starting to branch out. It's starting to look at memory. It's starting to look at power, and you're seeing fully valued. Even Jerome Powell was telling you that stocks are expensive. Of the Nvidias, of the are we at peak positive news flow?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're in a very, very exuberant, scary market in many departments. But you've got to keep. But I do think that it's morphing and it's rolling, and the focus has all been on the hyperscalers, the obvious AI capex beneficiaries. Have been crowded names, which are no longer leading the market. And the small caps have been given a green light by the rate cuts and the macro. So so there's a lot of short squeezing going on and there's a lot of in energy and the more value orientated stuff, but also the junk part of it. And I think that's got legs. I think the market can slowly correct in the obvious stuff, whilst this stuff outperforms. It's going to be volatile, but I can't see a market crash anywhere in the near term unless we have a catalyst for it. Yeah. And at the moment, we don't have one. So all I can see is a rolling over of QQQ, a much needed correction, whilst a lot of this stuff continues. Yesterday was a great example. The Russell was up 1.5% at one point when the QQQ was down 70 basis points. Yeah. Right, and that's rational. That's good. That's the way it should be right now. It's a nice day to see that, quite frankly. Yeah,
it's just whether it continues on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's the Hail Mary trade, long RTY versus short Nasdaq, right? Everyone wants to do that trade. Yeah. But does it ever work? Once in a blue moon. So I've got it on at the moment.
Like a long footsie.
It's a crazy trade because it sounds so awesome, but it never ever worked.
Yeah. SoundHound has worked.
SoundHound is great, yeah.
Shrimp Fred asking, where are we on SoundHound now?
Great. Well, hopefully you got in when I started talking about this around the 10 level. Casual 70%. This is back on the agenda for a number of reasons. The earnings report obviously started it all with 240% revenue growth and only 1 penny shy of a profit. And then they've done about 3 or 4 deals. Yesterday they did one with Red Lobster you can laugh all you want about it, but these guys are really penetrating healthcare systems, restaurants, in-car systems. It makes sense.
Just remind everybody what they do then.
So these guys are the oldest and most established AI voice assistants. So which makes sense. Like in a world of like driving is their obvious business, right? Because when you're driving, you need the highest quality AI-assisted voice you can have. Is obviously makes total logical sense. Ordering food. Dealing with health hospitals, there's a whole bunch of different applications. They've got loads of different new contracts going on, and they're growing ridiculously fast. I mean, 240% revenue growth, but they need to keep the bottom line going, which they are. From a technical perspective, this has now become a technical story as well, right? The chart looks awesome. It looks like it's going straight back to the highs of 24 to me. I actually sold my long because I'm a hyperactive ADHD trader, but I will be buying it back.
You have taken money in quite a lot of things, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm very wary of the upside and much more excited. I'm basically trading intraday at the moment. I'm cutting longs very quickly, and I'm just got my QQQ short. I've stopped.
Oh, there he is.
Stopped shorting all single stocks because I can't be bothered. I'm just got a large QQQ short.
That's what this kind of price action does to people. It drives you crazy until so single stock shorts get squeezed out, and that's where we are. The majority of shorts have got to be squeezed by now.
Yeah, I mean there's plenty, and there's more to come, but it's like some are only just starting to get squeezed. But yes, it's a deeply frustrating market, but also there's loads of money to be made. I've made 33% in the book that I run,
and it's almost too easy.
Well, this is the point. It's become the volatility is so low, and the same trades are working.
Yeah,
and that's when it starts to get real easy to make money, and that's when it starts. But as a professional, you start going alarm bells start going off. But that's okay. I've got my QQQ short.
You know what happens next?
Yeah, but the beauty of my short is that it's not going anywhere. Right?
Yeah.
It's just massive. It's sitting there. If the market sells off, I'll make money.
Yeah.
I don't care. In the meantime, I'm just dicking around in these small caps. I don't care. It's quite fun. And buying things like Orsted and selling it on the rights issue and stuff, just silly stuff like that.
Do you know what? We haven't covered Orsted much. It's really interesting. I wonder if the initial move by Trump was because they wouldn't give him Greenland. So that he decided to attack because Danish government, obviously one of the biggest holders.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, his entire attitude towards this whole space is pretty negative. But the judge blocked it, of course, right? So you saw that.
Yeah. So what?
So for now, and they're 80% complete on this project in Connecticut, which means that there's a very good chance that the judge has blocked it now. So whilst the Trump administration appeals that, in the meantime, they're just going to crack on doing their work. So bearing in mind. This stock.
Get the chart up, please, guys.
Orsted, yeah. This stock was being priced as if the US business was a zero. Plus, they did a massive diluting rights issue, which was actually quite well received. I mean, the market traded quite well on the back of that, and the rights so it's all actually gone quite well based on the fact that it was an Armageddon situation about 2 weeks ago. Right? They've done a massive cap raise. It's huge dilution.
So this was this last move down, wasn't it? That's the rights issue.
Yeah, so hang on. What's this?
So this is the Danish line.
Are you looking at that on CMC Markets now?
Because it's so bad.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Look at that gap. Wow.
Yeah.
She's a big one.
And so it just shows you that 8% move yesterday on the back of the judge arguing in their favor is nothing, is it? Absolutely nothing.
No, listen, the stock didn't move. The stock was up 14% and it faded all day back and closed the day up 3.5%. So it's still, but then it's got support this morning. Listen, my view on Orsted is that it's a pile of steaming you-know-what. But
turbines.
But it's interesting because they're not going out of business. If you mark look at what the analysts have done. There's been a whole bunch of hedge funds that have piled into this, by the way, in size.
Right.
Right. The obvious upside is that there's a walking back of the US thing, right? And that means stock's up 50%.
Yeah.
Let's assume that does not happen, and let's assume that US business is zero, and you can still get a valuation of this company about 20-30% higher than where it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Where else are they?
My analysts have looked at it. I've looked at other analysts. It's not a zero. It's been trading like it's a zero, but it's not a zero.
Okay.
And I just love situations like this where the market gets so aggressively bearish on something, and you just work out, hang on a sec, is this going out of business or is it not going out of business? They're not going out of business. And the judge blocking is actually quite interesting because it means that at least they can complete that project in Connecticut. And maybe who knows? Who knows? We've seen the Trump administration do circles on this before. They did it with Plug.
Well,
They blocked
with everything.
They did it, exactly. So who knows what the next bit of news is going to be? All I know is that if it's the worst case news, it still can go higher.